But let's start with Nick Chubb, guys, after a quick word from FanDuel. The NBA Finals in full swing every night, delivering highlight-worthy performances, major momentum shifts, and can't-miss moments. Whether it's a game-winning shot or a breakout player, there's never been a better time to get in on the action. FanDuel makes it easy to stay in the game before tip-off and live with player props, performance trends, same-game parlays. Fans have more ways than ever to play smart and win big. If you're new to FanDuel, right now is the perfect time to sign up. Head to FanDuel.com/UCSS and place your first $5 bet. If it wins, you get $200 in bonus bets. If you have a winning ticket, please send it into the show, tweet it at us, email at us, so we can feature it here on the show. We want to show all the FanDuel tickets that hit big and win big in the next coming weeks. So please send us in those tickets if you have a winning ticket. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. So we got the news on Monday that Nick Chubb was officially signing with the Houston Texans. He passed his physical. We have now seen him in practice with the Texans. We see him wearing number 21. And yesterday we got a little glimpse into the goodbye that Nick Chubb sent to Browns fans and the Cleveland community. Before I read you an Instagram post that Nick Chubb sent, I want to play you a little video that we saw posted. Nick Chubb doesn't do a ton of interviews. You don't very often see Nick Chubb in front of a camera speaking, but this video is about 1 minute and 20 seconds of Nick Chubb leaving Berea for what could have been the final time in February. It kind of gives you a little insight into Nick Chubb's mindset entering the offseason, and then I'll read his goodbye on Instagram. But this is Nick Chubb and Jock Films.
Could be my last time leaving here. Got here when I was 22. Grew up here. I mean, the biggest thing for me is the relationships I made here in Cleveland. You know, over 7 years. I'm super close to everyone. Finally opened up to them. Now I got to start all over. You know, meeting new people is always hard for me. I won't go out my way and talk to you unless I start to know you. So I guess that's just, yeah. New city, new people, new everything. Everyone embraced me, the city, the fans, the team, and you know, I learned so much here. I pretty much, you know, became a man here from 22 to 29. Just grateful and just probably looking forward to the next level, the next jump.
That was a little video giving some insight into Nick Chubb leaving Berea. Yesterday, he posted this on Instagram. 7 years. That's more than just time. It's where I grew roots, found a home, and felt a love like nowhere else. Cleveland, you didn't just embrace me, you became family. To every fan who cheered, shouted, and believed, you gave me purpose. To this city, with its grit, heart, and unforgettable spirit, you showed me what true community feels like. To my teammates, only we know how hard we fought every day and night. Relentless effort, scratching and clawing, doing all we could to win games, not only for us, but for the city. You guys kept me going every day, and I will never forget my time with you in the building and on the field. I came here to play football, but I'm leaving with so much more. Memories that'll last a lifetime, friendships that changed me, and pride in calling this place home. This city deserves a winning season every year. It's earned it. This city doesn't quit. The people never stop believing, and my brothers in that locker room will never stop fighting. Cleveland's time is now, and not because they are owed anything, but because resilience always wins, just like we preached every day in meetings. This isn't goodbye to what we built. It's a thank you for the trust, the passion, and the moments that made me feel like I belonged here from day one. Cleveland, you'll always have a piece of my heart. Until we meet again, heart emoji and bat emoji. A well-written thank you to the Cleveland fan base, the Cleveland community, from Nick Chubb. And I'm curious, Jay and Jason, you guys were on the show Monday. Earl, you were on the show Tuesday. Do you feel any differently now that it's been 96 hours removed, to knowing the fact that Nick Chubb is no longer a member of the Cleveland Browns?
No, I was crushed then, and I'm crushed now. I don't know if there's a meter for how much I can be crushed. Wednesday, we ran a soundbite from Nick Chubb on the 6 o'clock sports on Channel 3. And when we came out of it, I jokingly looked to our news anchor, Russ Mitchell, and I said, Russ, you're going to have to finish the sports. I can't speak. It's dusty in here. I can't go on. And I truly felt that way. First of all, seeing Nick Chubb in gear other than the Browns was devastating to me.
That's nasty. Look at that. That's ugly.
What's crazy, Jay, is your reaction is exactly what my reaction was when his video was up 2 seconds, and you said what I've been thinking. I can't believe he did that.
Yeah.
This is a man so private, so quiet, so humble. He does only the media that he has to do. He's cordial, he's polite, but he never peels back the curtain. He almost never lets us inside the bat cave. And I got to tell you, he knew when he left in February, and this was before the draft.
Yeah.
He knew this was likely his last time being in the Browns facility. And it meant so much to him that he invited, which I believe Jock Films is his own media arm.
Jock Films has put out Nick Chubb content before.
Yes. So that's who he chooses to let behind his curtain. And the fact that he did that tells me a lot about him. A, he knows how much he means to us. And he wanted to give the fans something to show that he knows that. And that's what it was. That video was a salute to Cleveland fans, letting them know in one of my most vulnerable and painful moments, I'm going to let you all in because I know you love me like I love you. This is a love affair.
It is.
And it has a terrible ending. And I know it's sports. I know if you talk to smart football people, they'll say this was the play. I'll forever disagree with that because sometimes human interaction and relationships trump what you think is the best thing to do. He deserved one more chance. I said it before, I'll say it again. I hope he tears up the NFL this year. I hope he has 1,200 yards and 10 touchdowns and has a career rebirth that he deserves as much as anyone.
You know, when I seen the video and when I seen his post on social media, he spoke specifically to the city of Cleveland, specifically to the people of Cleveland. Not once did he mention the Browns. It was all about the city. It was all about the fans. Nick Chubb is a guy who was the epitome of what this city is. Grit, toughness, overcoming, overachieving, beating the odds. That was Nick Chubb. A lot of players have came and went throughout this city, and we would always say, you know, this player is the mantra of what Cleveland is, when in reality, it's guys like Nick Chubb, it's guys like Joe Thomas that don't do too much talking. They let their work talk for them, right? They don't do too much complaining, too much whining. When they back is against the wall, they show you who they are and what they got to offer you. And Nick Chubb, to me, is the most beloved Cleveland Brown since 1999. And that's saying that knowing that Joe Thomas is a staple in this city and Joe Thomas is a Hall of Famer. But at the end of the day, what he contributed on the football field and off the football field and how he made people feel, like, to me, is second to none.
Yeah, I've joked before that I'm sort of dead inside. So I kind of processed all this at the draft. So I wasn't really shocked by anything this week. Yeah, it's the finality of it all. But we kind of saw this coming. So we kind of knew after the draft that this was probably going to be it for him. And I think he knew that. That's why he brought the crew, because I think he knew when he left in February that was it. And they were probably going to draft a running back. Probably everybody was shocked that they took two, but that was more definitive that it was it for him. Where does he rank on the all-time Cleveland beloved list? I mean, he's in the conversation at the top for sure. I don't know how you measure such things, but, you know, Earl, you say Joe Thomas and Nick Chubb and put Nick above Joe. I'm not going to argue with that. You know, when you talk current Cleveland athletes, I put Jose Ramirez in that conversation, but I think Nick probably overshadows that. If you talk all the time, you got to put LeBron in that conversation, even though he's so polarizing. There's people that don't like him inexplicably. But for Nick just showed up and kept his mouth shut. And I think he wanted to control the messaging. You've seen him go to Players Tribune in the past. He went to Players Tribune last year and wrote a great letter. And now he does this with the video. Yet, Jay, I'm with you. I said I was shocked that he did it, but I think he wanted it documented for the last time of pulling out of the facility and saying his goodbyes. Now, there's just something special about Cleveland fans and athletes, and this happens all over the country where athletes grow attached to certain markets, and there's a deep bond there. But and maybe it's because I live here. I've covered plenty of teams and I've been all over the country, but it just feels like it happens more in Cleveland than it does in a number of other places, where athletes just realize the passion that the fans have for the sports and for the teams and for them, and the connection that they draw. We've seen it in all the different sports. And so it's just, I salute him. I'm with you. I hope he has a great year. I hope he can play another couple of years in the league. The odds are against him, but if there's anybody you're going to bet on, it would probably be Nick Chubb to defy the odds.
Yeah, which is why I said I thought he deserved a chance. We're talking about a superhuman guy here.
Yeah.
We've seen that the weight room videos are legendary. We know he's done the work. It's impossible to tell from clips of video what a person, how much they're back. But I will say, I watched the video that came down from Texans minicamp on Tuesday, and I watched it. The one thing that for me is the hardest thing to get back is the ability to not slow down when you're making cuts. Because when you've had the ACL and you plant that foot in the dirt, there's a mental trigger to it. Oh no, it could go again. And when I watched him, the one thing that stood out to me was he had that extra little burst. And I know it's just practice and there's no pads, but that cut right there, I would have given him a chance. I'll tell you this, we've said that Andrew Berry's safe, that we think he's safe.
Yeah.
One surefire way, and I think Judkin is going to be a great back, and I think he's going to make us forget about part of the Nick Chubb legacy. I really do. I believe that. I love that pick right now. I think it's great, but it better be great.
Yeah.
And here's why. There is a scenario where Andrew Berry's tenure here ends this year, and that's if these two Brown running backs look like Ford and Nick Chubb goes and looks like Nick Chubb again. That's career ending. You can't overcome that. I'm sorry. You can't.
So for me, I'm right there with you with the thought process that not even deserved. He earned another chance, right? We all know what the contract situation was, and he did a lot to make sure that he appeased the Cleveland Browns. So he earned another chance. And I think what's frustrating for Browns fans, especially when it comes to Andrew Berry and just the whole situation in general, we've talked ad nauseum about this is going to be a long, tough season for the Cleveland Browns, that wins are going to be hard to come by. Well, if that's the case, then why not keep a guy like Nick Chubb in the fold?
Give us something to cheer for.
That gives us something to cheer for, gives us something to be excited about. And not trying to be mean, but in all honesty, like even if Nick Chubb is not the same player, his just football IQ and his experience could have been good for the rookie running backs. I would have much rather preferred a room with the rookies and Nick Chubb versus the rookies and Jerome Ford.
Right.
And I'm not trying to throw shade at Jerome Ford, but I'll take Pierre Strong over Jerome Ford if I'm being honest with myself. Yeah. So to me, why not keep a veteran running back that the fans love, that still might have something in the tank and can be a teacher to the young studs that you got ahead of him? It just didn't make sense. I can see if the Cleveland Browns was right there on the cusp of being a team that was right there being a contending team, and you had to make sure that you made football moves, quote unquote, that was taking us forward. But, and again, relationships, when guys are looked at like family, sometimes that should triumph the business side of things, especially in this city when you're talking about this team in particular. Like, don't try to be all buttoned up now when it comes to Nick Chubb when you ain't been buttoned
you're
up
going to
this
make a competitive team decision now.
Yeah, like it don't make sense.
And the other part about that is, I've dubbed 25 an exploratory year. That's really what it is. Let's see what we have. Okay, let's see if Nick Chubb has anything left. If we're just, and look, we're in a division where it's going to take 10, 11, maybe 12 wins to win it. I think it'll probably take 12. That's how good Cincinnati and Baltimore, to me, feel. If that's the case, and don't like the term mailing it in, but you're clearly, especially if you're not starting Joe Flacco. Now, if Joe Flacco is the starter, they must think, hey, you know what? We've got enough good pieces in other places that maybe we can get a wild card. So let's make a run at it. But if they start one of the rookies and it truly is this exploratory season, then why was Nick Chubb jettisoned? And I can't remember the numbers. Jerome Ford renegotiated his contract. Do we remember what he signed for? Was it that much less than what Nick Chubb is making? Nick Chubb's got the minimum.
He got 2.5
with another 2.5 in incentives, which the Browns easily could have done. Easily.
Jerome Ford is making 1.75 this year.
Okay, so for $750,000, they said we'll take Jerome Ford over Nick Chubb.
Yeah.
That could be the first paragraph of your general manager obituary. I don't understand that.
I don't think running backs get you fired.
I think this one will.
I think Nick Chubb
I think.
will.
Listen, I agree with that. But once upon a time, not that long ago, 5 years ago, remember running backs? You don't draft them.
Yeah.
They're a dime a dozen. The league has changed the way they look at running backs because the defenses became so stout against the pass that now the league has pivoted to running the football. And see the Philadelphia Eagles and Saquon Barkley. So if that pivot is back, and by the way, another thing that really drives me nuts about this, Houston last year takes Joe Mixon essentially off the Bengals scrap heap and turns Joe Mixon into a Pro Bowl running back again. If Houston is able to catch lightning in that same bottle with Nick Chubb and they make a Super Bowl, they have no one to thank but Cleveland.
Oh, Cleveland got him there. No question about it.
This will be
no question
Cleveland's
about it.
Super Bowl.
I wrote that after. I mean, think about the embarrassment. We're getting a little bit off topic here, but I wrote after Houston beat Cleveland in the playoff game. They gave you their franchise quarterback, went all the way to the bottom and came back up and beat you in a playoff game.
Yeah.
That's humiliating. And you're the one that provided all the pieces to them. Not all of them. CJ Stroud had nothing.
No, it didn't, but many of the other picks.
Many of the
some
other
of their
picks.
big defensive picks.
And I laid out all of it
Yeah.
of how the Browns built the Texans and people lost their mind. I'm like, I don't know how you can get upset by that. These are just the
you're
facts.
just issuing facts.
These are the facts. The Browns built the Texans.
See, Jay,
Now
that's
you
what
gave
drives
them-
me nuts. There's a large portion of our fan base that will blame the messenger
Yeah, I know.
instead of the group that screwed it all up.
Yeah, I know.
Like if you're frustrated that the Texans are going to be on a Super Bowl window for the next 5 years, don't blame Jason for writing about it. Blame the Browns for greasing the skids for it.
It's just amazing that the Texans traded you their franchise quarterback and still won a playoff game before you by beating you. Like, think about that.
And
think about
look where now 3 years later, we are in NFL purgatory
Yeah.
with this franchise quarterback who may never see the field again. And they, again, are on the front side of a Super Bowl window that likely will last for at least the next 3 to 5 years.
Probably.
I go back to, when Sashi Brown had to make that tough decision on Joe Hayden. And going into that decision, I remember Joe Hayden, his level of play, I kind of tilted off a little bit. He was dealing with the groin injuries. But people knew that Joe Hayden was all about Cleveland.
Yeah.
He repped Cleveland from the time he was here to the time he left here. He even made the choice to retire as a Cleveland Brown. And I remember when the Browns finally made the choice to release Joe Hayden, it was a lot of mixed emotions behind it because here's a guy that was an all-pro caliber player that constantly chose the city of Cleveland. And here we are, not a franchise that's worth winning a damn thing, and we're willing to walk away from a guy that sacrificed so much for us. Joe Hayden goes over to Pittsburgh, and I believe he made a Pro Bowl.
Still played well.
Played well, and
Yeah.
I believe made a Pro Bowl while playing for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I definitely can see Nick Chubb, a year removed from the serious knee injury. The ankle injury that he suffered last year clearly was not that severe, and he looks good. He was out there practicing without no braces on his knees. He was cutting fine, and so it wouldn't surprise me at all if he was to excel in that offensive system, especially splitting carries with Joe Mixon and have a phenomenal season. I just go back to it don't make sense because everything about what the Cleveland Browns is putting in front of us is screaming rebuild, regardless if they want to come out and say it or not.
Yeah.
And when you know how sensitive we are about this team and this city, and know that the level of frustration is already high right now, going into the season before we even got there, I just feel like the least that Andrew Berry could have did was give this fan base their favorite player to cheer for to help you kind of just get through what the season is going to be.
Yeah, no question about it.
It's all the Browns, like it or not, the Browns took the emotion out of the decision. Everyone here is talking about this from an emotional
point, right?
And I acknowledge that too, Jay.
Yeah, and when you're running an NFL team,
you can't be emotional.
You have to take the emotion out of it. And the Browns looked at this as the carries that we would give to Nick, even if he's got something left in the tank. How much is it? Is it one more year?
Yeah.
The carries that we would give Nick.
Does it stunt the growth of the other youngsters?
Yes, we need to give those
and that's
carries
fair.
to Judkins and Sampson and Jerome Ford, and we have to. This is not we as in me, we as in the Browns. We have to move this franchise forward, and it sucks. Like, these are hard decisions, and they know they're not popular decisions. It's like when Bill Belichick moved on from Bernie.
Oh.
And I mean,
Bill
you think this is bad.
Bill was mostly right, though.
He was right.
He was right.
But fans don't want to hear that because it's an emotional connection that you have with these players and with these teams. So I totally get it. But the Browns have removed the emotion from this decision. Now, are they right or not? We'll find out. I hope Nick has a great year. Even if he does, is he going to have another great year after that?
That's fair.
And I think that's where
Here's the funny part to me about what you're saying, because I agree. They did remove the emotion out of it, and I think we can all agree a part of how the Browns ended up where we are now is a lot of emotional-based decisions. And so in order to be better than what you are, you probably need to change how you go about things. But don't let Nick Chubb be your starting point of all of a sudden.
We're turning over a new leaf. No heart in this chest.
This is where you want to start at?
Yeah, that's a funny point.
That's kind of crazy to me.
That's a funny point. Yeah, for sure. I will say this. The football gods just take one dump after another on Cleveland Browns fans. I mean, you could write, not a book, you could write a full volume of books on all of the things that the football gods have done to the Browns that make you say, oh my God, enough is enough.
Is it us?
We surrender.
Did we do something wrong?
Yeah, what the hell? Is it on an Indian burial ground, like they say?
Yeah.
I mean, think about what happened when the Indians left that site.
Yeah.
The Indians, from that point forward, have been the antithesis of what they were the previous 30
That's
years.
it. Build the dome.
So build the dome in Brook Park
this.
and see if you can get out from under those evil spirit Indian burial ground. And I will say this, this was my point. The football gods smiled on us last season. They gave us one last Nick Chubb masterpiece where my image of Nick Chubb for the Browns will be scoring the touchdown in the snow against the Pittsburgh Steelers to help us win the game. Thank you, football gods, for that moment. It meant a lot in a season that otherwise felt like one constant kick to the groin after another. We had that.
My favorite all-time Nick Chubb run, and I posted a video on my Twitter page today. I made a little reel. But it was the 92-yard touchdown run against
Was that the Chubba Hubba?
No, that was just, it wasn't a Jim Donovan call, but
okay.
I just remember that run against the Atlanta Falcons and just how loud that stadium got when he made that run. Like, Nick Chubb was that dude, man, and he will be missed in the city of Cleveland, man. But life goes on, things go on. But I was about to tell you, you talk about like just the football guys dumping on the city and our fan base. I can still remember being a young man watching you on ESPN at night. I watched the Browns win a game that they ended up losing. I will never forget opening day, we playing Kansas City. They missed the field goal. Dwayne Rudd takes the helmet off. And again, I'm not used to this team winning. So as a young man that's a diehard sports fan, this is a cool start to the week. I finally get a chance to see the Browns win the first game of the season just for that not to happen.
Yeah.
Or I can think of the year that Reggie Bush was drafted. We played New Orleans opening week. And we get the ball first. And I can't remember the quarterback. He throws a bomb to like Quincy Morgan, first player of the game, touchdown. It get called back for a penalty.
Of course.
We go to get our ass whooped.
Yeah.
It was just like, man, I could think of so many different moments as a Browns fan.
I said you could write, not a book, but you could write volumes, one after another. The one play recently that really comes to mind, because we name them. We name our tragedies, the drive, the fumble, all of that. The one play that might be the most recent version of that was Kansas City's 4th and forever. and they pick it up with a backup quarterback in the game with the Chiefs in the wild card playoff game. I mean, if not for that play, the Browns win that game and they're going to the AFC Championship game.
Jay, the worst thing ever to me, the first playoff game I can remember seeing, like when we came back in '99, Dennis Northcutt catch that pass.
That's another one.
The game
That's
is
another
secured,
one.
man.
I'm telling you, the football gods love dumping on
I got a
Cleveland
whooping
fans.
that night. I threw something across the room and it broke something in the house. My mother said, I know damn well you ain't throwing nothing in my house watching the sport that you ain't even getting paid to play. Bring your ass here right now.
That's what moms are for.
Yeah, it was a bad day for me.